well, I thought I'd do a little bit of playing trains first. As you can see, this is SEVERN WHARF. Fairly new at doing this YouTube videoing on this subject, but I thought I'd like to have a go at this and share it with everybody. So I thought I'd kick off with showing you one of two main layouts that I've got. This one, SEVERN WHARF, which is all of just under 6 foot by 2 foot. It's less than that actually. It's very loosely based on something you'd probably see at Gloucester Docks. It's very similar to that. It's not in any shape or form a copy of it at all. I mean, there's a lot more to Gloucester Docks than this, but this is sort of inspired by it, I suppose. As you can see, I've used, so those that are used to seeing model railways will recognise that I'm using Metcalf kits here. The cardboard kits are very robust. They're pretty good actually. I've used one of the boiler house and industrial unit here. Using it like a engineering works. The retaining wall brick one, and of course the large warehouse, and which we've got a more modern version here, 50s style factory building. And in the foreground I've got, again, those that used to model railways probably recognise this Gauge Master crane. Gauge Master, again, these piles in the dock area are again Gauge Master, and I've weathered those to make it look as if you've got some sort of rise and fall of tide. The small barge we've got here, I think it's the Maker's Scale scenes. Quite pleased with that actually, considering they're very inexpensive. You just got to be a bit patient making these things, but we can go into more detail on this later on. I think I'll do that. We'll start splitting some videos up and show you what I've done in more individual detail. But it's basically just made of cardboard and paper, various thicknesses. Inside the scrap is actually 3D printed blocks that we've sort of raised up on one corner to make it look uneven, and very carefully weathered and painted. Talking about weathering, one thing I have noticed really is the importance of actually weathering your kits. I sort of enjoy doing it. In some ways it's a bit of a pain in the bum really. It's a filthy old business, I think. Depends how you do it. There seems to be so many different ways of doing these things. I use powders. I just use Revel powders. And I literally smear them under the windows here. You can see in the doors and things like this. You make it look as if the rain sort of washed stuff down. I don't go into any great complicated detail in the way I do weathering, but nevertheless I do it. And you imagine that building there, if it was left brand new bright kit, it wouldn't look right at all. It's got to look a bit grubby. Same with this overbridge. Doesn't go anywhere, but see how I've marked all the top where you probably got a little bit of soot and muck coming out from locomotives and things, and even right down to these wagons. These made a bit of a mess of those on purpose. They wouldn't look right too bright. Not in this scene. That's the basis of it. The actual track layout, I'll draw back a little bit. We've got several points in here, quite a few points for a small layout. But I spent a lot of time thinking about how to get some decent amount of operating out of a very small amount of space. And I seem to have come to quite a good compromise for the space I've got. You've got here like a kickback, the kickback siding. That is never occupied by wagons permanently. That is literally to run in and run back along the dockside, so you'll see that the direction that locomotive is in at the moment, on the right hand side, it can haul out into that spur and push back onto the main line, or whatever you want to call it, and it can pull your wagons back across onto the second line from the bottom there and do a shunt back over here. And and we've got a run round here basically as well. The top two. A locomotive can actually run round something like 4 or 5 wagons in this part here. So I can actually, without worrying about turntables and all the rest of it, and trapping my locos, I can actually run round on this layout despite its size. It did take a bit of thinking about, but I suggest if you're going to do a small layout, make it as interesting as you can for operating, so that you can at least play trains when you want to do it. It's lovely making this stuff, but it's also nice playing trains. But you can do it on a small layout. That's what I've found. Now I'm going to not to go into too much more detail now, because I just wanted to give you an overview. This is my first real chat about a layout properly. I did do something a few years ago on a specific bit of work which was about ballasting, but that's about all I've done. So I think what I'll do, I'll probably break this up a little bit now, like I said, and I'll make separate videos on how I've done the things. So there's Severn Wharf. I've actually, first time ever in my life, displayed this layout at a toy fair. And I was probably one of the very few layouts there actually. It was in Ireland, so I was quite pleased about that. But anyway, there it is, and I'll chat again about some specifics. Any comments? Glad to hear them. If there's anything you'd particularly like to hear about, what I might have done and how I did it, I can at least tell you what I did. It's not necessarily the right way. As somebody said in the railway club I was in, there's many ways to skin a cat, and I think that's very true. A lot of people have their own ways of doing things, and I certainly got my own. I've picked up a lot from people and guys that are very experienced, but let me know if there's anything you'd like me to go into, and I'll be happy to let you know. Thanks.